Ariana Grande is in headlines once again, but definitely not for a reason that anybody should really have to talk about. It's a really sad reason. And this is in regards to her health and the way that she looks, especially on the end of her tour and then also in the music video she's putting out. So I figured today we could talk about it. You know, even though it's a very sad situation, there are a lot of lessons that media creatives can learn about public perception and how you handle public controversy. It's such an important part. If you're trying to be a celebrity, if you're trying to be in the media, or if you're trying to be a public figure, even if you're trying to run a creative business, you have to know how to handle public perception, how you can shape it, and how you respond to controversy. So, you know, you never really have to learn anything yourself. You can look at the examples of others and figure it out. So let's go ahead and jump into it. First of all, I'm Dason. I'm a media creative. I've been doing this for 4 years. I teach people to see the vision, and I also help them to grow theirs. So I go live every Wednesday. I teach one-on-one coaching if you're interested in that. And I do this for a living. So yeah. It's a lot of fun. So go ahead and subscribe to me. Make sure you turn notifications and all that good stuff, because when I go live, I want you there. And then also whenever I drop a new video, which is frequently, even though I got to get better at it, but which is frequently now, I want you there to be able to see it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So starting off here, if you search up Ariana Grande, the only thing that comes up right now, just about, very little about her tour and her recent album drop. It's mostly just about her body. It's really sad. And just before we can get into it, if this is a sensitive subject. We're going to be talking about eating disorders and anorexia, and I'm not going to be mincing words or muting my speech. So if it's too much for you, I understand. You can go ahead and take a step back. But this is really the focus of her media attention right now. Major news outlets are commenting on it. All of her fans are commenting on it. It's gotten to the point where the artist can't even really focus on the art because everybody's talking about how she looks and what's going on in her health. So before we get into what we can learn and what she did wrong and what's going wrong, let's first talk about my opinion, because I'm a fan. I've been a fan ever since yours truly. I'm a pop dude. Like, my sister put me on to pop when I was little, and I stay on pop. I love pop culture. I love pop music. So I really am a fan of Ariana Grande. So this is really sad for me to see her like this, you know, and it's kind of like, it's not something that I haven't seen coming, because like a lot of fans remember, she had a Tumblr way back when that almost glorified, you know, eating disorders and stuff. And back in 2022, 2023, right before she started the Wicked tour, we were concerned about the way that she looked. And really, it was kind of taboo, because the only thing that we could do was compare it to the Ariana Grande that we knew. And then she claimed that that was the unhealthiest that she had ever been. You know, she said it. She went live or went on Instagram. I can't remember which. I don't want to say it exactly without getting it right, but it was her. And she said, "You are comparing me to the unhealthiest version of myself." And I do have that video. We'll watch it a little bit later. And so we kind of most of us were kind of muted. And she had a lot of support on her end, because nobody wants to comment on something that they're not 100% sure of. And now the artist is telling you, hey, don't believe your eyes, listen to me. We didn't have anything else to go off of. We listened. Most of us kind of knew, but we didn't say anything. Now we are no longer comparing her to her old body. We are comparing her to the normal standard of health. This is not healthy. I mean, you look at like Petal. We could not even watch the Petal music video because she just literally looked emaciated. I think that's how you pronounce it. I had to ask the A person over here. I just muted her. I had to ask Alexa earlier because I didn't know what it meant, but it literally meant a person who is weak and looks weak. And this is exactly what we're looking at here, and it's so hard not to compare it to her older self, you know. But these pictures are it's even hard to look at. It's even hard to look at. Like, they posted a promotional video this is straight from Petal. These aren't edited or anything like that. Straight from the music video. Somebody posted, when they posted the promotional video of Petal, it had to be community noted. If you or your loved one is dealing with eating disorder, this is the help hotline to call. If your videos are getting community noted, this is the first lesson. If you're an artist and people can't focus on your art, you have some things to address. That's the very first thing. So that's my personal opinion. And one more note on my personal opinion, and then we'll actually get into the meat of it. I'm personally disappointed. And I'll tell you why. I typically do not assign a lot of grace to any public figure, to any celebrity, anybody who's in the public eye willfully. And I'll tell you why. I'm a very small public figure. 100,000 people isn't really that much of many people if you compare it to Ariana Grande's millions and millions of people ever since she was a child. So, but I am very cognizant. Every time I put something out, I am very, very, very careful. I know I have children who follow me on Instagram. I know I have parents of children. I know I have people who are inspired by me, view me as an example. And some people, some very interesting people who want to be me, okay? Who follow me because they want to copy my next move. I can't fathom putting something, I try to be very careful at least, about putting things out there that I think could possibly harm somebody else, that I wouldn't truly recommend to anybody else. Anything that's just not good, that's just detrimental. And you know what you sign up for. The minute you start signing contracts, the minute you post something, you know that you have already put yourself in a forum to be judged and to be scrutinized, to be mimicked, copied, to be viewed as an example. So it's hard to have respect and empathy for Ariana because she's been doing this for years on a much grander scale than a lot of other content creators have been doing it, much grander. And it's like, how do you ask us to give you our money, but then you don't want our opinions? You understand what I'm saying? Especially when nobody's trying to harm you, when your fans, your genuine fans like me, are just concerned. And so that's my personal opinion. I'm disappointed, almost in a manner also, like the clothes she's wearing. It's hard to find any outfits where she's not trying to reveal her chest. And I'm not even talking cleavage here. I'm literally talking about her chest, her rib cage. It's almost like she's flaunting and proud of her rib cage. So me personally, I'm disappointed. But let's go ahead and hop into this lesson, right? Because this is a lesson for media creatives everywhere. The first thing I want to talk about is alienating your audience, okay? You have to be careful, whatever controversy you're in, not to alienate your audience. I want you to take a look at this picture right here. And this went very viral. I've seen this posted by a whole bunch of different people. This is taken at her tour, one of the shows on her tour. And people are comparing her to her old body, right? But if you read the comments are really the main thing. I wish I could have pulled up the comments for Petal as well. Let's take a look at these comments. I'm actually worried for her. She looks like an angel, but I do hope she gets better. Other people are saying sad. People are saying it's not okay, bro. She's literally just dying in front of everyone's eyes. She's always been skinny, but this is concerning. Looks like, yeah, well, I don't know about the consuming her soul, but it kind of does look like that. Looks like seeing someone's ribs is not normal at all. Genuinely, I'm concerned for her. Now, a lot of people comparing this to the Chadwick Boseman situation, where as he started to get skinnier, people started to make fun of him. Not a single comment that I just read you really was anybody making fun of her. I don't even think it was out of place for anybody to say that. Everybody that's making a comment, for the most part, is genuinely concerned. They're fans. They are caring about her. They want to see her win. They want to see her healthy. And what's happening here is that by either silence or the way you respond, you will alienate your audience, because the very people that care about you, if you respond to them the wrong way or don't respond to them at all, it's almost like you're calling them the enemy. Okay, that's literally what it's like. It's almost like you're calling them the enemy. I'm going to take it back to the one time, the video I was telling you about in 2023, where she talked about, fans perceiving her and how they viewed it. I just want us to take a look at this and view it really quickly, see what she had to say in 2023.
I just wanted to address your concerns about my body and talk a little bit about what it means to be a person with a body and to be seen and to be paid such close attention to. I think we should be gentler and less comfortable commenting on people's bodies, no matter what. If you think you're saying something good or well-intentioned, whatever it is, healthy, unhealthy, big, small, this, that, sexy, not sexy, we just shouldn't. There are ways to
Okay, so before she continues on, something else you need to learn about the media is that once you put it out there, it's out there forever. This isn't even her post. We're looking at this via Brut or Brute, however, Brute America, huge following page or whatever. This is recirculating in the algorithm for a reason. It's because this is the last thing. We'll get to the most recent thing. This was one of the last things that she said publicly about her body. And actually, I take it back. This is the last thing she said publicly about her body, and we'll get into that later because people are going to go, oh, well, she commented on it on a show. No, she didn't. She was very vague. She didn't comment anything about her body. She didn't say nothing about her body. At least from my understanding, I want to make sure I'm not wrong, but from what I read and from what I saw, she didn't say anything about her body. This is the most direct she's been about her body, and that was in 2023. So this is going to recirculate in the algorithm, and unless you do something to change the narrative, this is the narrative that's believed. So what she just said here, and this is what new people who are coming new to the controversy,
healthy, big, small,
people who haven't seen her response from the concert, anybody who doesn't have time to get to know Ariana Grande, this is what they're going to see. So when you're dealing with a situation where you're seeing somebody's rib cage and you're seeing their shoulders, what is the public perception going to be when they see this video? Ariana Grande said to stop commenting on her body, no matter how big, small, or unhealthy or healthy it is. This is the media world for you. You have to know this stuff. This is something that she should know. This is something that her team should know. Whoever who's doing her PR is doing a horrible job. At least make a comment to distance yourself from this, because this video I've seen recirculated so many times, and this was 3 years ago. All right, let's keep watching.
That, sexy, not sexy. I don't, we just shouldn't. There are ways to compliment someone or to ignore something that you see that you don't like, that I think we should help each other work towards. But I just also wanted to say,
ignoring.
One, there are many different kinds of beautiful. There are many different ways to look healthy and beautiful. I know personally for me, the body that you've been comparing my current body to was the unhealthiest version of my body. I was on a lot of antidepressants and drinking on them and eating poorly, and at the lowest points of my life when I looked the way you consider my healthy, but that in fact wasn't my healthy. I know I shouldn't have to explain that, but I do feel like maybe having an openness and some sort of vulnerability here will be something good might come from it. I don't know. That's the first thing. Healthy can look different.
Okay.
The second thing is
before she gets into the second thing, I have personal opinions also about the way that she's addressing this video. It's almost victim mentality, but she's doing a very good job of hiding it. Very, 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 very good job of hiding it. Is that to say that she's not a victim? No, but the public does not like victim mentality. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. And most of the people that were saying something were genuinely just concerned. So it was a keynote that she had mentioned about the body that people were comparing it to. And I think it was an image that I had here from, just so that you have a visual. This body, for the most part. Again, I give her credit for that, because why I would not want to be compared to who I was as basically a child. I imagine I'm 20 years old, but however I look in my 30s is not how I imagine I'm going to look now, or how I look now. But I think that the thing for that is no
openness, and
no
there will be something good.
No, it's just not working, because it wasn't working, because even here, when people have legitimate concerns, for you to just kind of push it off like that, when she said, I forget the exact statement that she said, but it was almost like you have to find a way to ignore something. That's alienating your audience. That's not what you want to do, especially it was almost like a non-sympathetic kind of way of speaking here. She didn't even say, I appreciate your concern or anything like that. And this isn't to nitpick, but you just got to understand the premise of what's happening here. This is why people are so kind of turned off from this video. You're addressing the issue, but kind of skirting around it at the same time, and kind of blaming your audience while saying that it's really only directed at the haters, but your haters are the people that actually care about you the most. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. We keep
come from it. I don't know. That's the first thing. Healthy can look different. The second thing is you never know what someone is going through. So even if you are coming from a loving place and a caring place,
having internet issues.
That person probably is working on it or has a support system that they are working on it with. And
Okay.
that person probably is working on
Had to
it or
rewind
has a
it 'cause
support
it had.
or know what someone is going through. So even if you are coming from a loving place and a caring place, that person probably is working on it or has a support system that they are working on it with. And the third one's unrelated. I guess I just wanted to extend some love your way and tell you that you're beautiful no matter what phase you're in. Have a very beautiful day. And I'm sending you a lot of love. I just wanted to address your concerns about my body and talk.
So, pausing really quickly. You have talked about it for over the past decade or longer, so I'd like to join in this time. Smiling face. Okay. Towards the end of that video where she said she wants to extend a lot of love, that love should have been, I appreciate your concern. Thank you. And keep in mind, this is 2023, but it's recirculating for a reason, because unless you have changed the narrative, you said it yesterday. You said it today. You said it every time everybody sees it. This is media for you. Okay, this segues nicely into that public perception matters. I have notes here, so don't judge me for looking at my notes. What you intend to communicate and what the public perceives can be completely different. Okay, because in a way it's evil, but perception kind of becomes reality. So everybody's going to analyze your words, your actions, and your image ever more closely. And it's going to affect your brand. It's going to affect who you are, how people see you. So that last little bit for me, it should have been, we appreciate your concern, but you're not doing that. And so it kind of pushes your audience away. And it was something that she said in here. I can't remember quite. Oh, yeah. She said that there's likely people that are working on it. And that she said that if you have mentioned something, it probably is something that they are already working on. Okay. It's something that they're already working on. Explain this image then. You understand what I'm saying? This is now 3 years later. This is something that they're already working on. They have a team, they have a support system, they have a family. How does that happen then? How does this happen if you're working on it? I'm not even faulting her, to her team and her family. How does this happen if it's something that they're working on? This is what her fans are seeing. This is what people are thinking in their minds. You were supposed to have a support system. You told us that you were healthy. So now we feel betrayed. There goes that alienation. You keep pushing us out. You're pushing us out ever more. I thought this was a nice video that I found. I'm going to let her do the talking. I forget her name. Kelly in the Know. Listen to what she had to say.
We'll see it, right? And we know that this is not a woman who is okay. And this was just 6 months ago. Now this was 2 days ago. We should not ignore our own eyes here. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are saying. Don't talk about it. Act like you're not seeing what you're seeing. And we can't and we shouldn't. And I don't think enough people know the story of Karen Carpenter, who lost her life due to heart failure as a complication of her anorexia at the exact same age Ariana is right now. Right. It's been incredibly hard to watch any content coming out from her first few shows on this tour. She should not be on this tour right now. Because of the conversations that came up about her weight loss when she was promoting Wicked, and she made videos saying she is the healthiest she has ever been, her fans are continuing to say that when people try and have any type of honest conversation that is happening here. And I do think at some point when you are a figure as big as Ariana Grande, right, it becomes dangerous not only to yourself, but to others.
That part right there, she just repeated the exact same point that I just made. Whatever you said last, that's going to become your motto. That's going to become what you said until you change the narrative, until you put something else out there. And here we go. And we're going to talk about this in just a second, because she did put something out there, but there's a reason why this is still circulating in the algorithm.
This is not just something you can see in pictures. You could hear it when she's singing. Her breath work is not as strong. You can look at the videos when she's dancing. Her choreography is not as limited and has basically choreographed sitting breaks. She does not likely have the stamina that she needs to fully execute this tour in a way that she would have previously. As a fan of her music, I am genuinely incredibly concerned. I want her to be okay. And this just cannot be good. Ultimately, I just really hope she has someone who is trying to help her, that she figures out a way to help herself. Because I can only imagine what toll this is actually having on her body and her health. At some point, we have to understand the part she plays in all of this. And I'm not just talking about physically, but even when she was promoting Petal, the pictures she chose to put out with that album
Correct.
are very reminiscent of ED Tumblr
Yes.
inspo pics
Yes.
back in the day.
Yes.
We saw it through award season in her costuming here. It's not in any attempt to hide what's going on.
None.
It feels like it's an attempt to highlight it.
It's an attempt to highlight, and that is one of the big key points. Something from another perspective. I was a PA for about a year and a half, a production assistant on sets and stuff. And, you know, one thing you learn about, like for example, government contracts, like whenever you did work with government or whenever you did work with institutions or anything, a lot of what you did was not you doing it. So what I think could be happening here, and you never know, like some people say she shouldn't be touring right now, or the outfits that she's wearing, you know, I can't believe she's doing that, or she needs to get out of the public eye, can be tricky because we never know if it's really the choice of the artist to tour, to wear what they wear, to do what they do, or if it's contractual obligation. I don't err on the side that it's contractual obligation, but like think about Michael Jackson. Nobody knew that, you know, he had to keep doing concerts in order to not be broke. And you would link Michael Jackson, who he makes a lot of money. Well, on paper, yeah, but he was broke and struggling to survive, so he had to tour even though he hated it, and it essentially took him out. This could be something similar happening, or we're watching it happen, but there has to be more on the part of the artist to kind of either confirm rumors like that or dispel kind of things like that, because there are things that you can do. Like, for example, I'll give you an example of pop culture. Brett Cooper is a conservative commentator who makes a lot of pop culture videos as well. When she was actively trying to get out of her contract, something that the public and her fans would do, essentially, and this is Queen Ariana. She's queen of like subliminal messaging and stuff. Something that Brett Cooper did, rather, is like her fans said, if you are in contract but you can't speak about it, and this is in comment section, can you please wear the color blue? And then she showed up to the next video that she did in the color blue, and so her fans knew. And then also little subtle signs like unfollowing, you know, people that were attached to the contract leaving. You know, I'm not too well versed in it, but you know, it was a big topic in pop culture. Ariana Grande is the queen of subliminal messaging. Petal has been, you know, subliminally messaged for years. So I feel like if Ariana Grande was truly in trouble and this was not of her own accord, there would have been some kind of subliminal messaging, because she's really good at that. She's really good at that. So, I mean, that's just something else to think about, though.
My own experience and what I know is when people are struggling in this way, this unfortunately is just giving them validation. I really hope she gets help, and I hope she can figure it out.
And so this top comment here, somebody, you don't know if this is fan or not, could have lost him, says, Ariana loves the attention. Trust me. Top comment. Honestly, as someone that has had anorexia before, I promise you these videos are just making her happy. It's sad. So I want to get into probably the last part, that silence is still communication. This is very important. You saying nothing, I'm getting away from the mic. Silence is still communication. You saying nothing is just as bad as saying something bad. Okay, so I want to explain what I mean by that. I want to get into these articles. Rolling Stone and Forbes both made an article about it. I can't see anything. That is so tiny. Oh, no way I can blow that up. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is what I was talking about when people are like, oh, well, she made a comment about it. She made a comment. She said that. She said, no, she didn't. So what first happened was that her team made a statement. And let me see if I can find that part. The announce that was on the Rolling Stone article, I think. I'm just gonna have to paraphrase it for you because I don't want to run out of time. Essentially, her team came out and said that Ariana Grande would be taking a public break. Let me bring it back just to camera. Her team came out and said on a separate Instagram account, by means of a story, if I have that correctly, that she's going to be taking a break. It was going to be a public break. They used the words, she will be stepping away happily and healthily. Okay. So it's almost like you're addressing the situation while not addressing the situation. What was the point of using the words happily and healthily? You kind of skirted around the issue there. And so people are going to say, well, she made a comment on it. She commented on it. Well, first of all, no, that's her team. And it created a lot of backlash. It not even backlash. It created an uproar. Like, people were shocked that, oh, well, first of all, their favorite artist, her fan base, is going to be leaving the public eye. Oh my gosh. And then I think there was some point in there that it said something regards to oh yes, it said relentless negativity, or insistent negativity that has been surrounding her tour and her recent releases. Okay, so we're gonna bring it back to Ariana Grande. So now, after that was so poorly received, this is what she was on tour. She was at Chicago on a show, and I think I'm not sure when she said this, toward the end or toward the beginning, she decided to comment on it. It says Ariana Grande made a brief speech during her Chicago concert, her first appearance since she announced over the weekend that she would take a break once her tour wraps up, her team. Acknowledging the public reaction to her announcement was a little bit blown out of proportion. So now you choose to respond when the noise gets too loud. Media creatives, anybody who wants to be in the public eye, get on it. Before it gets too loud, do it. An Instagram live, Instagram story, a post, a reply, a comment, anything. Get on it before it gets too loud, because now you're just chasing. Or if you're gonna stay silent, stay silent. If you're gonna stay silent, stay silent. I'm going to talk about why silence is dangerous, but why it can also be effective. But give me a second. Okay. So it says Grande said she quietly made a plan to take a break a long time ago, adding her fans were worried that the negativity was ruining things for me. A possible reference referred to the reignited internet debate over Grande's health and appearance. She said that boundaries need to be set, and she can take a break while acknowledging that she is going through the greatest experience of her professional life. She said that she will take a step back from visibility. After and this is the key. I missed this part. This is what her team said. Her representative said that she would take a step back from visibility, citing endless ongoing public scrutiny. Okay, so there's so much to unpack here. First thing is that she contradicted what she said when she decided to go public. So she goes, people thought that it was because of negativity, and she said when it doesn't come from me, things get blown out of proportion. But her team, her representative, said she will be stepping back from visibility because of the endless public scrutiny. Okay, so now you have conflicting statements. So it's almost like the confusion is showing, the defensiveness is showing. So you need, if you're made it creative, make sure you got your story straight. Make sure anybody who represents you, make sure they know what they're doing. So let's say this was posted without her permission, okay? Now we're going to talk about what she had to say. What she had to say did not really touch on the issues that her fans are concerned about. She didn't talk about her health at all. She didn't talk about the reason that there's a lot of public scrutiny, the reason that she can't even post a music video without the comments about wishing that she was healthy gets 90,000, 100,000 plus likes. The entire reason that every major news outlet is talking about her is because of the issue that she's skirting around and won't mention directly. So it creates a false sense of, I don't want to say honor. It's almost like, it's very vague. That's the only word I have. It's so vague, and it's disgenuine. It's very disgenuine. There's already discourse about that. We won't get into anything about her personality or anything like that. But yeah, and so this is what I wanted to say about being quiet. Being quiet, believe it or not, I do believe is a very, very good method. You just have to play it right. You have to do it right, okay? I'll give you an example. Mr. Beast has been in so much hot water over so many things. Started with Ava Chris Tyson, and then I don't know, the Feastables thing that he did, and other people thought that he was scamming kids with a whole bunch of stuff. Just everything that he did. People were actively trying to take Mr. Beast down, and it was working for a little bit. Public perception changed about Mr. Beast. He stayed silent just about nearly on everything until the very, very, very end. Let me bring it back to just me. He stayed silent on just about everything until the very, very end, and it worked. Mr. Beast can post a YouTube video and get just about the same views that he used to before the controversy. Nobody really talks about the controversy in his comments. In the comment section, that's what it was filled with. Nothing but controversy beforehand. Now nobody talks about it. The reason for that is that when you're silent, you need to leave the public eye and don't give any more fuel to the fire. The issue with Ariana is that you are almost flaunting the issue that people have a problem with, so you're staying silent feels more like defiance. You're staying silent is really just adding fuel to the fire. It's communication that you don't care, either about your fan base or about your health. It's one of the two. Because your earlier statements, when you broke your silence, you said that you were working on it. Somebody on your team has you, and you look worse and more unhealthy than beforehand. So silence is good, but you need to pair your silence with disappearance. And I think her team realizes this now, which is why now her and her team are deciding to go ahead and pull back from the public eye. I hope, as a fan first, nothing happens while she's gone. That's what I hope. I hope that her health remains intact. But then, as a media professional, I hope that when she comes back healthier, or she comes back with a public statement about her struggle and stops trying to highlight it. Okay, guys. So that is really the gist of it. Stop alienating your audience. Know what public perception is and what yours looks like. And then remember that silence is still communication. So those are the three things that Ariana Grande is getting wrong right now. But you can absolutely avoid it. And there was something else I had to say, and I completely forgot what it was. But just basic, I really hope that Ariana Grande gets better. I really do, as a fan, but also as a person who cares about her as a person. I really hope she does get better. And before anybody goes in the comments or anybody has something to say like, this is too much of a deep dive, or, we shouldn't be, this is probably not what she needs right now. I need you to understand that there is not a single way in the world that a person who is in the public eye like this does not expect for this to happen, nor should we assume that it shouldn't happen. This is literally the point of celebrities. This is the point of social media. It's the point of anybody who is a public figure, okay? We are supposed to talk about you and your impact on society. We're supposed to talk about you and your impact on our feelings. You can't ask for our money and then not ask for our opinions. That's not how it works. And anybody who disagrees, well, then you fallen straight into their trap. Okay? Because when people go into the comment section, they're like, well, we don't need to talk about Ariana Grande. She's a person. She's a person. No, she is a person, but she's a public figure, and she's not a normal person. Normal people don't post, their EDs in affectatious ways where they really want people to see it. They don't present it in front of millions of people. They don't stay in front of the spotlight and in front of millions of people, get billions of views. Normal people are afforded different rights than people who are public figures. I completely understand that, and I accept that as a public figure on a little baby scale, on a little small scale with my couple thousand followers. I know automatically if somebody's I have haters, people who make videos about me, people who try to copy me. It is what you sign up for. It's part of the job. And it's our job also. This is what they want. That brings them more attention. And in Ariana Grande's case, I don't think that this is the kind of attention that she wants. Because if the worst were to happen, this is what her legacy would be left with. Her fans warning her and being scared and mortified, and it would just be a horrible situation. And then when she gets healthy, which is the hope and the goal, this is still a stain on her legacy. There are some things that you can't come back from. You take Nicki Minaj, for an example, completely alienating your base like that and ignoring everything that they have to say. You can't really come back from that. And that's what you're trying to avoid, is make sure that you keep everything together, keep your public perception together, and stop attacking your audience. Okay, look at my cats. They just sit there by the door protecting me. Don't know why they do that. All right, peoples, make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications. I do this every now and then, very frequently, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Alrighty, bye.